It's been a long time since I've recorded an episode of this asking YouTubers if they know anything about the game at all, but this one I was pretty excited to do, and I've pulled over a great expert from the community named Galzo to see how much he knows branded. Hi, how we doing?
Hello, thank you for having me. I've been watching episodes of this like for a while. Made me crack up so much. So I actually reached out to Skarlon. I was like, "We got to do a branded one. I mean,
Yeah,
put me to the test. I'm ready."
yeah. Yeah, this was a show that I definitely. It's one of those things in the background I've always wanted to do more of, but I sort of started running out of people to work with, and then they got so much of things, so much to play. But it was fun to put this together, and it's nice to do these every once in a while. So yeah, I've put together not just some cards for you to evaluate, but how I did in some of the more recent episodes of this. I've got a bunch of extra little questions in here. So for those that haven't seen this before, the way this works is that the main bulk of the questions is I've taken a bunch of, in this case, cards played in Branded, and I've either changed something in its text or its attribute, effect, name, stats, things like that, or I haven't changed anything, and Galzo needs to spot what it is that's changed, if anything. And then I've got a bunch of additional questions all around different sort of topics around the deck to add a bit more of a curveball in. So, how confident are we going into this?
I mean, look, when we first talked, it was a few weeks ago. I was going like on that night, I was going through DB, reading the cards. I was like, where can I most likely fail? I mean, I feel like I know the cards pretty well, but also after our conversation, I went and read Branded Fusion, and I never saw that it says two monsters. I just never saw that it
Really?
says only two monsters. So I'm confident, but I think these type of quizzes are funny for a reason, because I'm probably gonna drop some.
Let's get into it, and let's start with... Would you like to start with the card evaluations, or would you like to start with some of the other questions I've got?
I'll leave it up to you. I'm ready.
So, let's start with some of the card evaluations, and I've got a pretty easy one for you to begin with. Right, perfect start with our good friend Aluba. What are we thinking on this
The
one?
Jester of Despia. Okay. So, if this card, it's a fairy, level 4, dark, 1800, 0 defense. We're already good on that one. Oh, okay. You can add one Despia spell or trap for your deck to your hand. That's easy. Which is funny because this is how this was originally printed, and I actually have copies of this card that says Despia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you mean. This is what the card says. This is my copy in front of me.
I mean,
I didn't change anything
I
about
have this
this.
copy. I have this copy.
I don't know what you mean. This is what the card says.
Yeah, but eventually it could add only branded spell and trap. So yeah,
Yeah, a bit of a... They nerfed it, unfortunately. Yeah, real shame.
yeah, less good.
All right. Yes, of course, absolutely. It is just that restriction. Very, very easy one to start with, just to let you off easy. But we'll get into
Warmed up.
another one with Sprint.
Ooh, Sprin,
Oh,
the Iron
common
Dust Dragon.
only print friend.
Yes. Still hoping for this to get, the boost in the tins maybe. So let's see. Sprin, the Iron Dash Dragon, level 8 Dark Dragon, 25 2000. So I can already tell you that this is a machine. This is not a dragon for sure. This is it's a funny thing that you can actually use High Spirits and Gimmick Puppet Nightmare to send this to the graveyard. Use each effect once per turn. I'm gonna go with the type being the only mistake here. It's supposed to be a machine.
Yes, indeed, it is a machine monster. One of the few Albaz dragons that is not a dragon.
Yeah, true.
Well, actually, no. That's most of them aren't dragons. Actually, when I think about it.
Worms, but yeah.
Yeah, worm beast, wing beast. Yeah, one of
Yeah.
the few that isn't a dragon in any sense, even lore-wise.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Whew. Despian comedy. Okay, so right off the bat, like the stats, I'm not even sure about the stats. I mean, I know it's a dark fairy.
Yeah.
The 0-2000 kind of rings a bell. And the level 1, I'm pretty sure tragedy is also a level 1. So I think I'm gonna go with that for now. Let's read the effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up Despia cards you control. Okay, sus. Quick effect, you can discard this card, negate that effect. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you contribute one fusion monster, special summon this card. This is for sure true. There's also the you can use only one effect, which again, comedy is not one of the most played ones, but it matches with Aluber, it matches with Tragedy, so I'm assuming that's right. But I am gonna go out on a limb here and say that it's not a Despia card. It's a Despia monster you control, I would assume. I think this will be my final answer, because if anything is wrong here, I mean, Despia card? There's no Despia cards. I don't think that's an official thing, so I'm gonna go with that.
Unfortunately, I didn't change anything on this card.
No! No way!
Yes. Indeed, this is meant to protect theater from cosmic cyclone.
Oh, no. Oh my god. Well, I had that suspicion, but I was like, Despia cards? It's not even a thing. Well, there you go.
Fine, you got plenty of opportunities to redeem yourself with the next one. And I trust you to get this one.
Fallen of Albaz. Okay, well, Dragon level 4, Dark, 1800, 0. If this card is normal special summoned except during the damage step, you can discard one card, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on either field as fusion materials, including this card. But you cannot use other monsters you control, Skarlon. You cannot use other monsters you control.
Absolutely correct, yes.
There we go.
Obviously something that's not gonna slip past someone that plays Branded all the time. Maybe someone that's only played against Branded, though, might not realize that a specific restriction is written on the card.
Yeah.
But indeed, you cannot use your other monsters. Which,
yeah, but it's definitely hidden. It's definitely hidden, though.
Move on.
All right. Springans Kit. Okay, I mean, right off the bat. Oh wait, no. Okay.
Ooh.
Let's.
What are we thinking about?
I'm identifying some things here. I think that first of all, we know it's a level 4 beast because now we have the Chimera fusion stuff. This searches this, and obviously it's a dark. The one thing that sticks out to me is the attack. I know this is not the correct attack. I'm assuming that if it's the only right, I think it's 1700, the correct attack. But let's read the text. For the love of me, I could not tell you the defense of Springans Kit, but I'm pretty sure that the attack stat on Springans Kit is 1700.
Yes, that is the only change. Is indeed a 1700 attack monster, which I don't think ever really comes up. But yeah, when you play with it a lot,
you just know that it's 100 less than all of the other ones, right? Than Aluber or Albaz at least. So some things you can go over. Yeah.
I would like you to tell me. This deck has had a few misprints over the time, right? We've had Alba, of course. I would like to know if you can remember how they misprinted the card Branded Disciple and what its misprinted effect was.
Okay, I'm feeling good about this because Branded Disciple is actually a really funny card. So, Branded Disciple, if you guys at home don't know this, it's one of the only cards in Branded that can actually negate Ash Blossom. Just naturally negate Ash Blossom.
It is, yeah.
The original, and I have this print as well. I think it's never been. I don't remember if this was printed in the structure deck. I think this
was not. It was in Battle.
It's only Battle of Chaos. So the only printed copy of this card, yeah, it has the misprinted text. So the misprinted text was, I'm not gonna remember exactly word for word, but what it says that if you control a fusion monster, a fiend fusion monster, level 8 with 0 attack, you can do something, right? While the intent of the card in the official card text on the website says that if you control a level 8 fiend fusion monster, you can negate your opponent's monster effect if that monster has 0 attack. So they actually made it completely unusable. They meant for it to be, synced with Queritus somehow. But instead they wrote, if you control a fiend monster who's a fusion, who's level 8 with 0 attack. So I don't remember the exact effect, but I know that was like hilarious because it was unplayable.
I will give you that, and you got very close. It does actually include defense for some reason.
Oh.
But yes, it is the current text on the database for Render Cypher. When a monster effect activated by your opponent resolves, if that opponent's monster has 0 attack or defense, and you control a level 8 or higher Fiend Fusion monster, you can negate that activated effect.
Yeah.
But the text that we got printed and still do not have reprinted, maybe we'll get it in the tins, was when a monster effect activated by your opponent resolves, while you control a level 8 or higher Fiend Fusion monster with 0 attack or defense, you can negate that activate effect.
Just negate that effect?
Yes, there is no way in Archetype to resolve that effect.
Yeah, it's crazy. That was so funny.
There is actually a Fiend Fusion level 8 in the game with 0 attack or defense. But it's not a branded one, and it's not really feasible to make him branded.
We're gonna find a way to make it. Unfortunately, it's not the real text, but I remember reading this card when I first got it like in my hands. I was like, wait, this has to be a mistake. And eventually they fixed the text.
We can now, I got a couple more of those questions, but we can hold those till after I do the remaining of the card changes. So let's get back onto those.
Awesome.
We've got 5 of these left. And this is sort of the harder half, especially for people that don't play the deck that often.
Whew, now I'm nervous.
Or don't play these optional engines like Branded in White.
Branded in White. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Branded in White, definitely a unique card. Also has kind of complicated text from what I remember.
Yeah.
A lot of the older cards, like Lightning Overdrive era, had this thing where if you use them as cost for Albaz, they set themselves, which for Branded in White it didn't make sense because it happens during the end phase. But let's see. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a dragon monster. That is true. This part I think is correct. You can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard this turn. Okay. So the part about the most complicated part of this card is the fact that you can banish cards in addition. I think that the end phase effect is only if this card was used to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz this turn. Only then you can set it. So I think that part is incorrect. But
yes, correct.
But the Fallen of Albaz banishing from the graveyard, from your hand, or by banishing itself from the graveyard. I'm gonna say that the only mistake here is the end phase effect.
Absolutely correct. Yes. This indeed is from the era before we had a good end phase trigger for these cards. And the weird, do you want to discard a card to set it in end phase on a normal spell was certainly an interesting concept they had.
Yeah.
But,
you could do some nice things with it, with Albion the Shrouded Dragon from the graveyard, because then its name becomes Fallen Balbaz. But now we have main phase 3, so we don't need these cards.
Right, let's move swiftly on. Granguignol, one of our favorite fusions.
Granguignol. All right. Now that so in terms of Granguignol, I'm like looking at the spelling of the name to see if something is missing from there.
I may have misspoken. I won't change the names of cards.
Okay. This could have been a nice trick though. If this card is fusion summoned, you can send one level 6 or higher light or dark monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. You did not change a single thing about this card.
Very confident going into that. Is that you're 100% sure?
I mean, you're making me doubt myself, but monster special summon by your opponent's activate monster effect. I mean, I'm fairly confident that this would be the text.
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't change anything about this card.
Okay.
I always have a bit of fun putting in cards with long text and not changing anything because we will scour them for the slightest issue. And there are a couple things you can pitfall with Greenall. A lot of people don't know it has to be a monster effect that summons it. A lot of people don't know that it doesn't summon just anything from deck or extra.
Yeah. Oh, you can still ash it though.
High Spirits. Now, this is one you like a lot. When we contest each other a bit on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I love this card. This card is so there's such a disparity about this card because it has such an impactful effect that is so horribly written. Add one Fallen Valbaz or one monster that lists that card in its text. Oof. From your deck to your hand. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard this turn, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of Branded High Spirits once per turn. I wish, Skarlon, I wish this was only a once per turn, right? This is... So...
What do you mean?
So, first of all, like, the first thing that kind of confuses me is the or one monster that lists that card in its text. I can pretty confidently say that you can only use one effect of Branded High Spirits per turn. So the final sentence of this card is incorrect.
Okay.
The problem is, this card is worded so incredibly badly that I'm like, even if I read this card before going here on, recording this, would have not guessed it. I think that discard the revealed monster, and if you do, the once per, like the last sentence is the one that is incorrect here, and the rest, I'm gonna guess is true.
Absolutely correct. Yes, I only changed the once per turn restriction on High Spirits. This is a fun one. I knew you would probably have a problem with the listing part. This card came out, I think around about or just before the point that they changed the way they write these kinds of effects to say mentions it like Branded Lost does or like Quem does. It was around that point where they made that change. So this didn't get that text change because it was printed just before they started doing that. Yeah.
I'm betting they changed it because of Albaz. Because
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just couldn't list that card in its text and all of these cards.
Yeah.
It's made life a lot easier. Beautiful artwork.
Yes.
Retribution.
I'm gonna say that this is my top 3 favorite cards in the deck. It
is really cool.
I am waiting for the day Branded Fusion gets limited in the TCG so I can play 2 of this. Honestly, this card is so...
That's a horrifying concept. I want the deck to be worse so I can play more of this.
Skarlon's worst nightmare. Yeah. But, this card is just so incredibly good. Like you said, the fact that they planned so much ahead for this deck just astounds me. Having this and Albion the Shrouded Dragon, it's just... amazing design. So
synergy with Quem and Saranir and all that, just being able to search a Branded Fusion without using Alba.
This card is amazing. So return to the extra deck. 1, again, really confusing text. 1 face-up fusion monster you control, or 2 fusion monsters in your graveyard that mention Fallen Valbaz material. So the way it's worded here makes a lot of people confused that you can just return any fusion monster, but that's not the case. It's a monster that mentions Fallen Valbaz as material.
Important placement of the commas.
And then we have a semicolon. Okay. We have a semicolon after the word material, which means you return for cost, right? But again, having played this card so much, and also, probably 25% of the time, maybe 20% of the time, actually use it on field. I'm pretty sure that the entire effect is just one effect. There's no cost of returning a fusion monster. I think it should be probably then negate the activation or something like that, but I'm not sure I remember the text correctly, but I know it's definitely not a cost.
Correct, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
It does not return for cost. It is something that is a lot of people don't realize. I see a lot of people playing this deck, they immediately put the cards back, and it's an easy mistake to make, especially if you played a lot of Branded Ambassador, because it is a counter trap. So it basically never really comes up that it doesn't immediately put them back.
That's
because
true.
you're going to immediately be resolving it unless your opponent chooses to Solemn Judgment this. 9 out of 10. Moving into the final card change today. One of my favorites, and one that I was disappointed you didn't include in some of your lists. with Lilith.
Lilith! Let's go!
She is.
I mean, honestly, I gotta give it to you. She's back, okay? She is back. Despian Lilith is a light spellcaster synchro, level 12, 25. So far, so good. 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters. Okay. Once per turn. This is also a very long effect. If a card or cards leave the extra deck. Ooh. Okay. Already spotting like 2 sus things. Leaves either extra deck. Oh my god, Skarlon, don't.
Oh yeah, you're starting to realize how you haven't read this card that closely now, aren't you?
Okay. You can target 1 face-up card on the field? No. Wait. Stop.
What's the problem?
Stop. Okay, everything up until now is a problem. This is all completely wrong. What is this? Look at the creativity of Skarlon. Make all face-up monsters you currently control gain 500 attack, and if you do negate that target's effect until the end phase of this turn. Wow. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent this turn, you can special summon 1 light spellcaster monster from your deck with 1500 attack and defense from your hand or deck. Okay. So you really try to screw me over in this one. You basically want me to recite the effect word for word, which I'm gonna do.
You know,
which I'm gonna do.
These are all important functional changes, if there are any changes here.
Okay, so let's start with. Okay, let's start with the materials. Already there, Lulu requires a level 4 tuner. So it is relatively generic. Besides the fact like it doesn't require synchro monsters or spellcasters, it just requires a level 4 tuner. The leave the extra deck effect is kind of complicated, but I just want to say you got this entire effect wrong. Like the whole thing is just backwards. So I'm pretty sure that the end phase, I'm pretty sure that the end phase effect says that you can special summon 1 light spellcaster monster whose attack equals its own defense from your hand or deck. The hand part I know is true. So let's put that aside. So once per turn, if a card leaves either extra deck, I think this part is incorrect because I think what it actually says is that once per turn, if a card leaves the extra deck. I don't think it's plural. I don't think it has the the things.
I will not take a point from you because this is a mistake I have made on my part. Because usually I will grab the text of the cards off a YGO Pro deck, and sometimes they don't perfectly update them. Yes, it should say the extra deck, not either extra deck. That is an error on my part, not a intentional change.
Okay.
So,
okay. You can. So this is. I'm gonna read you the effect from my mind. Okay, right now. If a card leaves the extra deck, you can negate the effects of 1 face-up card on the field. And I know the second part is like all monsters you control gain 500 attack. And it also says permanently in, I don't know what these things are called in English. The brackets thing, but the round one. Parentheses, yeah. So that's what it says. If a card, once per turn, if a card leaves the extra deck, you can negate the effect of 1 face-up card either on the field or your opponent controls. I'm gonna guess that it's your opponent controls. And then it's probably like a then or if you do. All monsters you currently control gain 500 attack permanently. Let's break down the if you do part. I'm probably not gonna remember it word for word, but I know that so we have three mistakes here. I think we have 3 mistakes here. The materials, the part of the effect that, it's all backwards. Lulu doesn't target. It negates, then it gains attack permanently. And the end phase effect, I'm pretty sure it's a light spellcaster whose attack equals its own defense from hand or deck. Final answer.
I will read the card. Yes, there's some slight text changes here, but they don't change functionality outside of that. Yes, 1 level 4 tuner plus 1+ non-tuner monsters is correct. Once per turn, if a card leaves the extra deck except during the damage step, it does indeed say you can make all monsters you control gain 500 attack. It does say permanently, but that doesn't really mean anything. Don't know why it says that. Then you can negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of this turn. It does not target. Correct.
Interesting.
It is funny. If your opponent Raigekis your board in response to Lilith effect, she doesn't negate anything. And she has to make your monsters gain attack.
Yeah, that's true.
And indeed, during the end phase, if it was sent to grave because it was sent on this turn, you can special summon 1 light spellcaster from your hand or deck whose attack equals its own defense. 3 for 3, 100% correct.
Woo!
On the final.
Wow, this
done.
one for the ages. You really got me with this one. It has so many effects though. Like these cards are just crazy. But yeah, we love Lulu. We love her.
At this point, I put Galzo through a question that took 30 minutes and was awful and dreadful and completely dull and unpairable content. I'll keep the file, so if you guys want to see that at some point in some director's cut of this video, let me know, but for now, I am not gonna put you through that. So just know, it was not good. One more question to help you chill out. I'm gonna need you to tell me, as your final question today, can you remember every single Starlight that is in Branded?
Finally a question after my own heart. So, are we talking cards that are directly tied to the lore?
Directly synergize with the archetype. So we're not gonna count, for example...
Dragoon.
We're not going to count Dragoon, and we're not going to count, for example, Ecclesia, because while Ecclesia has that could be summoned off Lilith, it isn't really part of Branded as an archetype. It doesn't directly name anything to do with Branded in it.
Even though it summons Fallen of Albaz from grave. Oh, you mean Incredible Ecclesia?
Yeah, I mean
okay.
Dogmatic Ecclesia.
Dogmatic Ecclesia, okay. Maybe tricky. We'll start off chronologically, maybe. Let's do the girls. We have Incredible Ecclesia that mentions Fallen of Albaz. I'm gonna count it, even though I don't have that card as a Starlight. We have Quem. Oh, okay. Alba Lenidus, who's a Starlight. The first fusion.
Is correct.
That was a Starlight
fusion we got. Yeah.
Yeah. One of many. Thank God. We also have Blazing Cartesia and Guiding Quem, who are both Starlight rares as well.
Yep. That's
we
4
have,
so far.
Yeah, we have Mirror Jade in Photon Hypernova.
Correct.
And even before that, we have Grang and Yol, which is also a Starlight rare.
2 Starlight fusions in the same set for the same archetype.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, we needed that. We needed that drain on a wallet.
Yeah, my bank is calling. And Despian Lulu Wallolith is Starlight, and
correct.
I mean, technically now we have Bestia Lubellion, who's a quarter century.
I will count that as a Starlight, yes, because it's an OCG Starlight. So
yeah,
yes,
it is a Starlight.
After that trial that was the previous question, you have passed this one with flying colors 100%. Those are the 8 Starlights in Branded.
Woo!
This truly is the most expensive deck of all time.
Yeah, unfortunately, if anyone should know. Yeah, definitely I think somebody should check, but it's maybe not like Lightsworn. Absolutely in love with all the cards, though. I mean, it's really fun, and I'm sure you share that sentiment too. Even with like not necessarily everybody owning all the cards, it's still nice to see. Even though it's like money driven a little bit, it's still fun to see the love that Konami gives the deck, like the acknowledgement of like, this deserves ultimate rares after ultimate rares and OTSs and like high rarity stuff, because it's what makes you, you know, want to invest in your deck a little bit further, and also kind of like guarantee, not necessarily all the time, but like guarantee some sort of longevity with the deck. Like the deck, you know, it can live on with these high rarity stuff and not get obliterated because it's been like, you know, 3 years of story. And yeah, it's we love to see that.
We do, yeah, and I can only hope that the Snake Eye lore gets as much love because it looks really cool and interesting as well.
Yeah, let's
I don't think
hear about
anything
that.
will. I don't think anything will overthrow Alibur in my mind, but yeah,
Probably.
there's only so close you can get.
But she's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's all I got, and you did pretty good, pretty good. Very
Solid.
little wrong, and the only thing you really struggled with was the punishingly difficult question there about duality. You have anything else to say? And of course, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, first of all, this was an absolute blast. Thank you for taking the time to put all of these together. This was masterfully done, and honestly, like, you know, by reading the, you know, the new text on the cards and the little mistakes, it's clear that like only somebody like you who knows the deck in and out could have written such a, you know, an intricate quest. So like questions, and I think it was really like fitting. Thank you so much for having me. If you're watching this, you can find me over on YouTube, youtube.com/Galzo, over on Twitter, GalzoTCG, and yeah, this has been really fun. Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe we can do something again at some point, but for now, that's all I got. I don't know when this is going up. I don't know when any of my content's going up anymore. It's a bit of a minefield right now, but thanks for watching and everything. Maybe there'll be another episode in the next 2 years. Otherwise, expect another deck profile in next week or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out for content. Bye.
Woo!